Hey, welcome to BeEazyPodcast. This is episode 3. I got my homie here, my guest. Appreciate Apple Fig.
Love.
A little bit about everything that we doing today. It's just talking game, getting education, sharing knowledge,
Giving game, giving gems, giving life.
gems. Let the people know who you are, man. Give us your story. Tell them.
What up, y'all? My name is Albert Fig. I've been knowing Will for years now. We went to college together. We graduated together, got our degrees together. I didn't go to the graduation. Side note. You went. I didn't go to it. That was by choice. I chose not to walk for other different reasons. I didn't want to go. Not that there is any other reasons. I just didn't care to go. So we went to the college.
You graduated.
I graduated. That was the main thing. I got the cert. I got the diploma. That's all that's needed, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? So that's how long. It's how long ago we go back. You feel me? And we just been clicking ever since. But I've been out here in Sac now, going on almost 10 years. 10 years now in Sacramento, which is crazy to even think about it. When I say it out loud, bro, like 10 fucking years. You know what I'm saying? Move this back so we can see you some. But almost 10 years now, shit. But yeah, I'm just out here. I consider myself a digital creator. I have a podcast of my own, Hypocritical AF, that comes out every week, Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. to be exact. Audio, video, kind of like the setup that we got going on right now is kind of like a representation of what my podcast is. We kind of just brought that to right here. We
definitely gonna talk about
that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, digital creator too. So I shoot content, I make content, I edit. I love music. I love conversations, storytelling, getting to know people, learning from stuff, whether that be in, finance, literacy, culture, history, whatever it is. I just like to learn stuff. You feel me? Like I get very, very curious for a lot of things, and I just want to learn stuff. And that's why I feel like it's beneficial with podcasts, because you get to learn from other people and get different perspectives, and also gets you out of your own element, because you get to understand people's side of things that you might not have been inclined to previously.
True.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I appreciate podcasts. But yeah, what up, y'all?
Yo, you did bring up a good, interesting topic that I did want to talk about. You said about learning things, right?
Mm-hmm.
What was the biggest life lesson you learned so far doing, like, overall journey, basically?
That was tough, because it depends on what aspect you ask me. Like
as in growing your podcast.
Right. Okay, so growing the podcast, what have I learned in life? So since the podcast started, which is going to be the 2-year mark, it's coming up. Come on now. 2 years.
Are we on episode 105, right?
It's going to be, episode 105 is the one that's going to be coming out soon.
Okay.
And it drops next week, actually. Or depending on whenever this comes out, it might be the same week. But yeah, 2 years in it. But the biggest life lesson that I learned from it was that there's always room for improvement when it comes to learning, right? So if we think we're experts on this, or we feel like, well, I don't have to listen to this person because what do they know that I don't know? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
What do I got to listen to this person for if they're not going to teach me anything that I don't already know?
True.
It's that mindset of being like kind of abrasive or kind of like stuck up to be like, I don't need to know any of this stuff. I already know this, or blah, blah, It's closing the chapter on that and understanding that you can learn from the most randomest people. You can learn from a person that's just, sitting next to you on a bus, and you can learn a little life lesson that maybe you're not, might have hit right now as opposed to if it didn't back in the day. You know what I'm saying? It's just learning. So I think that's the biggest lesson so far is just constantly learning, constantly evolving with that, with getting the knowledge or information that you got from those learning things, putting those into effect and evolving from that. So learning, I would say, yeah.
Hey, so you guys got to learn, man. Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
I know that you're a busy guy.
I am.
You're very, very busy. I just think that you done an episode with Tessie as well.
Mm-hmm. Shouts out Tessie. Tessie Mystic. Check her music out.
Yeah, that was dope.
Yeah.
I also seen that you done one with Keith last episode.
Keith Yoganada. Shout out Keith. You feel me? Yeah. Diversity in that, right?
Right, and I know it been some personal things happening with you, with like your car and everything going on, but you kind of like overcame it.
Of course.
Still been hella busy.
Still, yep.
So, what are some things that help you to like relax or just be like, I need to be Albert for the day?
So my unwind time, because I am so busy, for the most part throughout the day, throughout the week or the weekend, like firsthand. What I can be like kind of chill is might sound kind of cliche, but just being with my son, just doing normal shit. Like the other day, he woke me up, calling me from his crib. He was just like, "Daddy." I'm like, "Oh shit, I gotta get up." It's like 7:15 in the morning. I go with him. I get him. Make of his. We're in the living room watching cartoons. Make him his breakfast, and then we're chilling. And then we go out. Maybe we took him out to the park, or we go outside kicking it, just like literally just throwing balls at each other, kicking a soccer ball. As basic and as normal that is, that's like the downest chill time that I get, because when I'm not doing the podcasting, when I'm not working, when I'm not editing, when I'm not creating, or I'm not like planning or thinking about all these other things, and those times when I'm just doing normal shit that just happen to be playing with my son, so it was that time, and those times when I'm doing those normal things is where I'm like, I'm normal as fuck, or this is my downtime where I'm just chilling. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I would say during those times.
Okay. Yeah. That's pretty cool though, because at the same time, me and my son, we'll play FaceTime or
y'all go. FaceTime, yeah. He's old. He's at the point where he's like, you can play video games and online,
V-Bucks and skins and shit like that.
Yeah. See, I'm not there yet.
That's pretty cool though.
Appreciate it.
Shout out to dads though, man. I'm glad that you're doing everything that you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Man. Actually learning things. Me and we're not from California.
No.
But we made a way in California. Sacramento to be exact.
Mm-hmm.
I've been there for almost 7 years. It sounds hella crazy.
The time when I said that 10, I was just like, oh man. When I said that 10, I was like, it's getting up there. You know what I mean?
But I feel good because we done so much right now. For the 7 to 10 years, they're like, oh, look what they accomplished. It's just like we wasn't lollygagging and that.
No, for a fact, because if you look at, no disrespect, but if you look at the people that we went to school with, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of them, again, no disrespect, but they're either like not really here, they moved back to wherever they came from originally, or they literally just switched up whatever, profession that it was in that field that we were in, and just kind of not fell off. I don't want to say fell off because I'm not going to paint that picture in that light, but it's kind of like they went back into the hole. Yeah, they went back and they, went back to whatever they were doing. So, yeah, if you look at statistically, too, what we did is solid.
Yeah. To kind of elaborate on the situation that you just talked about.
Yeah.
I'm 25 years old. Mm-hmm. I have no kids.
Mm-hmm. You're saying if you are, right? Because I know you ain't 25.
Yeah, I'm not 25.
You're up there in age.
I'm up there.
You're up there in age.
But
okay.
Say for the person who's watching this right now, they're 25 years old. Mm-hmm. They have no kids. They got a job, but it's not too much, but they got a job. Mm-hmm. And they stay with their roommate.
Okay.
What would be, they have no skills at all.
What are they trying to do?
Life. They don't have any goal. They don't have anything. They don't have no goals. They just turned on YouTube and actually seen this podcast.
So they don't know exactly. I'm just trying to understand the situation more. So they don't have necessarily no aspirations, no goals. They don't know what they want to do. They're stuck. They're plateaued in the area. They're 25. They're at home. They're doing something, but they're not really sure where to go.
They can't get by. They can't actually figure out a long-term or short-term goal.
Okay, got you.
What would be some advice for that person who's actually watching right now? Or what skills would you recommend for that person to obtain?
Easy. The very first thing is, it sounds kind of like pretty vague and kind of general, but the very first thing is find something you're passionate about. It doesn't have to be I'm passion in building cars. I have passion in finding the next cure for cancer. I have passion in investing in the next biggest, social media thing. It doesn't have to be that. It could be literally something like going to the gym. I got passionate about going to the gym, and I've been consistent for 6 months, and see how that changes and impacts your life. Number one. Number two, it could be something simple as, I learned a new skill. Like, I got into culinary arts for cooking. You know what? That's not me. Cooking is not it. I'm going to get into wood shop and crafts. I find comfort and I find a passion in crafting things out of wood. Whatever it is, find a passion and do it for 6 months. So what I'd found out and what I found to be true was advice that was given to me was find something you're passionate about, do something consistent for 6 months and watch how it changes, not just your approach to life, but watch how it changes your demeanor and your work ethic. If you do something consistent for 6 months, again, I use the example of working out. See what that does to your body over in 6 months. If you pick up a new language, do that for 6 months to see how far you go. If you start to cook or do something, do that for 6 months to see how much it changed in your life. So, number one, find something that you're passionate about, no matter what it is. Find something that you're passionate about. Number two, stay consistent at minimal. Do it consistently for 6 months and see how much that changes your demeanor and your shit to life, right?
6 months.
And the third thing with that, and lastly, it would be, if you do those first two things and you fail still, understand and know that that's okay. You don't have to be down on yourself, and you don't have to look at yourself as a failure if option A, B, and C don't work. Because if you do something again for another 6 months, you'll find the next thing. So don't feel bad on yourself. Don't feel down. Don't feel like you're a failure. You can close the door on multiple different things and another one will open. So don't feel the need to be like, I'm just going to give up on life because the first 2-3 things didn't work out for you. You know what I'm saying? So
sure.
Those would be the 3 things for that. And at 25 too, that's perfect. If you're single with no kids and you're just at home, you're on YouTube trying to figure out what to do with life and trying to figure out where to navigate, that's perfect. Because at 25, you're at that age where you're not too young, where you're just out here doing dumb shit. You have to it's okay to go out and do dumb shit when you're young, because you want to get that out of, you know what I'm saying? Get it out the way too and everything. But you're not too old to where you start to get that, damn, like, I'm really at this age. I really should be married with 2 kids in this house.
Right.
You don't have to. Those are unrealistic expectations. So 25 is a perfect age for you to just focus on that grind. Focus on finding something that you're passionate about. Do it for 6 months and do it again and again and again and again. Because it doesn't matter how much how much you fail at it. Just find something again. You'll find it. You know what I'm saying? 6 months, it's nothing.
I like that. A lot of people sometimes when they've actually hit a hard part in life, they just want to give up.
Yeah.
Or they just want to say fuck it or do something else. But it's okay. Like you said, man. That was a great topic. I appreciate that.
Facts.
A lot of times when we learn different resources or different type of skills, it's on YouTube or person to person.
Yeah.
Lately, it been a lot of podcasts going on. Is there any podcasts or books that you read that can influence other people? Or
so podcasts. I listen to a bunch of different podcasts, right? So I have some that are specifically just for comedic value or entertainment on my end.
Okay.
There's some of them that I just use maybe for leisure to like kind of fill in the like as a buffer, almost as to buffer in some time. And there's some that like I genuinely go for. So if we're talking finance, right? Earn Your Leisure is a podcast that I listen to. Money market updates on they do them is it Monday or Wednesday, or no, it's a daily one, but it's called the Economic Update.
Okay, I'm gonna have to check
and
that out.
I think Economic Update, and that one is, I think they just rebranded. Actually, if you don't mind me looking at my phone real quick.
No worries.
I want to say they rebranded, and it's the Personal Investor updated Wednesday. Yeah. So the Personal Investor used to be the Economic Update, and what they would do was every single day they would go over the stock market, the influxes, inflation, and just everything that's going on. It was really prevalent and big on during the pandemic because, interest rates and everything had fucking went down so many times, which I have firsthand experience with when it comes to home ownership, how I refinance and everything, which we could touch into if you want. But Earn Your Leisure, $1 million worth of game. That one's always good because what I like them about is that they're a good mix between entertainment, and they bring people on that you can actually get value from. Hence the name $1 million worth of game, because they're giving so much of that. Hey, and then what they'll do is, if you stick along long enough for those episodes, is they'll usually have, not on all of them, but on some of them, about like a 30-40 minute mark, they'll cut to a person that's like a small little clip or highlight of a person that's like 10-15 minutes, and they're talking about storage facilities and renting them out. They'll talk about t-shirt businesses and
tech stuff and all that.
And they'll plug in their chance to get on a text thread or a text club, and you could text. They'll give you a link with the code and everything, and then you get to get put on like on a membership type of thing if you take advantage of that, right? Of course, like a simple one that's kind of like off top, like a lot of people go to is Joe Rogan, right?
Yeah.
I don't listen to every single one of them because he does it like damn near every day. You feel me? So it's tough.
It'd be entertaining.
Yeah, it's just tough to keep on every single day. But he's definitely one that I go to because the vast majority of guests that he has on. Yeah, that's another one. In books, The Four Agreements was one that I guess just came to mind right away compared to like a lot of them. I'm not gonna lie, I don't read a lot of books, but I listen to audio, which is kind of like the same thing. But it's some people will be like, nah, it's different, it's not the same. But it's just because it's a lot more convenient. And the Raiders won.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Raiders just won. We was watching the game on the sideline.
The Raiders just won. I'm sorry. I'm a Raiders fan.
Tied up 34-34.
Oh, OT.
Like they scored the touchdown.
OT vibes.
Everybody right now. And just to let you guys know, he's a Raiders fan.
I am a Raiders fan.
So this right here is kind of a special victory for him as well.
So. That's kind of the gist on all that.
To sum it up.
Yeah, of course.
That's pretty dope, man. We have a lot of fun off camera, man. We go downtown. We recently just went to La Russell.
Yeah. Experience. Shouts out to La Russell.
Shout out to La Russell.
Podcast alum.
Yeah. Just the whole experience, man. Hold up. First of all, I appreciate you for actually extending your invitation and actually let me attend with you.
Yep.
So that was definitely the big ups for that.
Yeah, 2 times actually. The other one on the ranch.
We
Excelsior
did.
Road. Yeah.
Yeah, we did just see. Yeah. We seen La Rosa twice. So we had one at the ranch and we had one at the Harlow's. Both times, Albert like, hey, slide through.
Yeah.
And we made it happen. So definitely appreciate that.
Yeah, of course.
What was your favorite thing about their whole concert?
Just talking about both or just one in general?
The one that we just had.
So the one at Harlow's, what I think, kind of a side note, when I've done on my podcast, I've done a live episode once. And I like doing the live well, I want to do more, and I was supposed to do one for the 100th episode, but that was on me. I didn't plan everything accordingly. I didn't set everything straight. But when I was looking at where to do it, because I was thinking like for the 100th one, I kind of want to go to a venue. I kind of want to go to a different spot. So I was looking into Harlow's, but there's a lot logistically. There's a lot more to it. You can't just call me like, hey, can I go? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So like there's a certain way you have to do things and everything. So my biggest takeaway from him performing at Harlow's was doing everything independently and being able to work. The fact that they were able to work with him to and gave the okay with the whole proud to pay, because a lot of time venues, they'll be like, all right, you could it's gonna cost $1,500 to rent the venue, and then they're gonna charge the door price, like right. They'll usually set it. And some places that's just what it is, and you have to cover your own security. Sometimes it'll be like, all right, we'll cover security, but you cover your own production or whatever. Everybody's deal is different. You know what I'm saying?
True.
What I thought was cool for him is that like he was able to negotiate and work with them, and they were able to work with him to be like, our method or our structure is proud to pay, which was essentially it's a ticketing offer. Like we put in an offer, and if they accept it, meaning good company, his business, his brand, if they accept our offer, that's our ticket. You know what I'm saying? That's our ticket. It's not like a traditional, and on top of that too, when you make an offer, it's going directly to the artist. It's not being cut up or a percentage is going here. It's going directly to the artist. And on top of that, you're cutting the middleman, so there's no administration fees. There's none of that shit. So there's no Ticketmaster. I mean, he worked with a company, TBA, I think, or WBA, something like that. So they're the ones that kind of like did essentially what Ticketmaster would do.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So just the fact that he was able to do that and have people, on stage with him performing, and everything at the gate, just all self-funded. I think that was
Yeah.
my biggest takeaway, just being like, all right, there is an avenue for this independence route. There is an avenue that you can do without having to go the traditional route. Yeah,
Definitely. One of the biggest things that I like, he was just in the crowd like, what do y'all want to hear today?
Yeah.
I never seen nothing like that.
Yeah.
Imagine Wayne coming outside and be like, what song you want to hear?
Yeah.
And bro, he was
and then giving the opportunity to come up on stage too.
Yeah, he had the little kids on there. That was pretty dope. Always giving back to the kids.
Yeah.
Always like literally just being humble. Sat there, even though that the show just ended and he had to go, he still sat there and took a picture with everyone.
Yeah. I mean, I'm talking about, bro, we left, got a quick drink, was walking back, and he was still out there.
Still out there
taking photos, making sure that, you know what I'm saying, like that he'll say hi to everybody. But I think it's fortunate too is that like that he can do that right now, because like let's just say if he does an arena or some shit like that, I'm not sure if he'll be able to.
Nah.
You feel me? Like I don't know. But he also, I don't know if you know this or not, but he also offers gold card memberships. So gold card memberships, you get to if you get a gold card membership offer based, you automatically every show. Damn, I feel like I'm selling this shit, but basically what he was saying was like you're guaranteed access to every show and all early access to a bunch of different things. Like a gold tier, gold card membership type of thing.
Yeah.
So like I said, a bunch of takeaways from all that. Just mad respect to Russell for everything he does, his music, the way he's approaching everything, and like I said, podcast alum. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, he was on your podcast. Yeah, he was on the podcast. As well.
Yeah, so it's like nothing but good things to say about the dude. Yeah, for real.
Good energy.
Yeah, for sure.
That's pretty dope. You did mention a difference from live podcasting and just a podcast that you normally do. What you think's the biggest out of those two? The different biggest.
Well, the live, so it's a little different. Like realistically, it's not live. We're not recording it and it's not being broadcasted live. Like that's what a live podcast is. You're doing it either directly, like live. It's on a YouTube Live, Spotify Live, or whatever web hosting site you use. It's live like that, and it's
no editing, no nothing.
Yeah, no nothing. You're just shooting. That's what live is, and then so like think about like a TV when you're live. You know what I mean? It's just like that. It's on the spot, right? But I didn't do that, and the reason why I called it live recording or live taping was because I had some type of audience there. And what I thought was cool was that I was able to bring, even though it wasn't like an actual, you feel me? Like we're not in a venue. We're not at a auditorium.
Right.
It's not like a bunch of crowds or anything. We just had like a few select friends and everything. I wanted to say it's a live recording because it kind of keeping a standard. So that way going forward, anytime I do more, there's still always going to be live. I'm just recording it. So I call them live recordings. So that way, hopefully, and it gets to the point wherever it gets big and we start doing, arena. I mean, even if we're doing arenas, whatever it is, it could still be the same live recording. It don't matter if it was one person, I would still call it live recording. If we got 10,000 people, I would still call it live recording. So I just want to keep that same standard, you know what I'm saying, going forward.
Okay.
Yeah, and the difference between them is that I don't know, like I guess you're more on edge. I guess you're more hyped when you see people out there because you're talking and you got like a bunch of people right there. Like right now, it's just us. It's just like a normal thing for us. Like this is how we would be kicking it either way. Sure. And if we got like hella more people, we would still be doing this, but it'd be more entertaining. It brings more out of you. You know what I'm saying? When you got when you know that there's people right there watching. So it's entertainment values up there too.
They don't know behind the scenes you wear a lot of different hats as well.
I do.
Different like editing, lighting, decoration.
Yeah.
Like everything.
Set dressing and everything.
Set dressing, as we was about to talk now.
Yeah.
He literally came here and set dressed my whole podcast, bro. Like literally within like 35 minutes of watching the Raiders whoop the shit out the Seahawks. Like it's crazy, man, how he just put it together. Even learned so much valuable things as he going along fixing shit.
Yeah.
Like he's literally learning. Like I'm literally learning while he's doing it. Like, yeah, it's just so quick, man. It's just like I appreciate that because a lot of times people like to hide the knowledge or
yeah.
Like bro, it's like an open sponge. Whatever you really ask him, or if you're having trouble with anything, you just ask him, man.
Yeah.
To let you know, DM a Hypocritical Podcast. different topics, different shows, interesting people, like great conversation, the whole thing.
Well, I think it's all trials and tribulations, right? Like I didn't go through 2 years of my own podcasting just being like, this is from the jump, I'm getting this quality, or from the jump, I already know all this stuff, right? So going into it, I had zero knowledge from it, zero background. I had no information. I didn't know how to dress a podcast. I didn't know how to produce a podcast. I didn't know how to run a podcast, let alone even host. You know what I mean? Become a host and do my own thing. So all those things I had to learn, and all those things you get your information from, you get your knowledge, you do your research, you get your background information on everything, and you kind of just put it out there and you learn as you go. So 1 week might be different from the next. 1 month you might learn specifically or solely more on audio, and then 2 months from later, now you're learning key stuff from like tricks of the trade from watching YouTube University, from other podcasters, and also you get influence from guest hosting and going on other podcasts, because you get to see how other people run their thing. You get to see what schemes they're running. You get to see what setup they have. And then also too, as far as giving the knowledge and information for everything, is realizing that it's not a competition right here, right? True. It's not a race. I'm not against you. You feel me? Like I don't see nothing to gain from just holding on to whatever I know from it. You know what I'm saying? Because ultimately, I want to see everybody win, and it's like when you're winning, I could just know like, oh, like I helped him on that, so I'm winning too, because at least I gave knowledge and he took that knowledge, right? So, you know, rising tide rises all boats.
The million gonna come either way.
So yeah, like there's no competition. It's like the same thing. Like when we went to Stockton, we go to the Blowing Smoke podcast with JG and Jay Jonah. Shout out Blowing Smoke podcast. Yeah, when we went,
that was pretty dope.
It was all love. Like there was no we're not in a competition, you know what I'm saying? And then I'm also there to be to guest host, which I felt, honored and everything, but it's like I'm here to learn just as much as you guys were interested in learning more about me. And you went and we were able to chop it up after and everything, and so it's just a win-win. Like you don't have to, not everybody is against everybody, and not everything is a competition.
You never know your connections.
Right. Yeah, so you want to make those, and you want to give out as much information as you can, because if you don't, then how the hell is the next person supposed to help me? You know what I'm saying? Like if I don't, then if I had that same mentality of like I'm gonna hold this in, then what if I was next to a person and they kept that same thing? They were just like, well, I'm not gonna tell him. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you're just learning as you go. Yeah.
Damn, that's deep, man.
For sure.
That's definitely deep. Never hold knowledge from the homie or whoever just trying to inspire. Is there any time in the podcast, like, have podcasts actually help you mentally, like you was going through some life issues and just you had an episode and you just gave it all? Or
oh man, yeah. So there's been times.
You can elaborate.
Well, there's been times where I held back though, because I'm still not, even though I'm 2 years in, I'm still not 100% fully. Like I'd be lying if I said like I'm 100% comfortable with it. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm still not 100% comfortable with it, because there's still stories, there's still stuff that I haven't talked about on it, because I'm just not, either it's not just there yet, or it's tough too. Like when I'm doing a solo episode, it's tough for me to be like, all right, so let's go back to January 25th, 2007 or some shit like that.
Happened, right?
It's tough for me to go back into those specific things or bring up a story that might be relevant when I'm talking to myself, right? Like if we're talking like this and you're like, yo, so you ever done this before? You ever done that? And I'll be like, funny story is I have, because so, or if you ask me if we're talking something about what was something that was mentally draining back in the day or something like that, then I could use that to be like, funny story because of, blah, blah. So there's been times where I haven't fully gone into stuff, where I forget to do certain things or forget to talk about stuff. And then I get like, damn, like I should hit this more, or I should have talked about this more, I should have opened up more with this, blah, blah. But there's times where where it has been, quote unquote therapeutic, it's because I'm able to do one. Like I self-doubt myself sometimes going in. I'll be like, man, I'm about to do this episode. I don't have all the energy in the world. It's probably going to be shitty. You feel me? Like, damn, bro, like but I still got to do one. And then after I get done doing it, I'll be like, oh, damn, that wasn't, I did it. I knocked it out. It wasn't bad that I think. And it's like, you did it. And then when you get done, you're like, okay, bro, like that's not, you know what I'm saying? Like it don't matter.
Definitely feel that way.
Yeah, like it don't matter. Like, because you gotta remember at the end of the day, especially, I mean, for my podcast, it's every single week. So it's just another week. It's just another week. It's just another week. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's been helpful for sure from the mentals, you know, just knowing that I'm gonna knock it out and be cool.
But also doing the podcast, you learn so many other skills that's like video and editing and also camera work and things like that, which can actually bring you more passive income or revenue in the future.
Right.
If anyone want videos or anything like that, Hypocritical, the link at the bottom, reach out to them.
Check out the edits. Yeah, all the reels, the little skits, the highlights, the artist spotlights, the whole YouTube page. Everything that you see is ran by me. And again, that's another learning thing. I didn't come from that background of editing, but you know, learning the stuff, doing that as you go, you get more privy to it.
Yeah. Do the people know? No, the people don't even know. What's your hometown?
Hometown originally. So I was born. So this was in spurts, right? So I was born in Salinas, California, Monterey County specifically. I mean Monterey County, but Salinas specifically is where I was born. I lived in Greenfield, California. I was there from like preschool to 6th grade. And then 6th grade to 12th grade, I was living in San Lucas, California. So it depends on, I claim those two. I say Greenfield and San Lucas because they're big, like, roots to me personally. They're like big, some of my childhood memories come from both of those. So they come from living in Greenfield and they come from living in San Lucas. So my childhood memories are all that. My teenage years were in San Lucas. And then when I moved out, is when I started to, I was like, 17 and a half when I moved out. Then I started to like, you know, become an adult. And then when I was here in SAC, I lived my adult life here. So it's tough to, like I said, maybe if I had to say, I would say San Lucas more. Yeah.
Okay. Tell the people a little bit about Georgia.
Ooh, so when I was living in Georgia,
and how did you get into the military, man? It's crazy because this whole time we've been knowing each other, but I never knew why you got into the military. I never knew.
You didn't?
I never knew, bro.
I swear I thought I did. I thought I told you.
Nah.
So, okay. We've been going long, so this is a long story. But it's going to sound like rambling, but I swear it's for a reason. So there's like 3 different reasons why. Number 1, I never wanted to join. I never wanted to join. That wasn't like, I had no intentions. It wasn't my goal. I didn't know what the fuck army was because I enlisted in the army. I didn't know what the army was. So I thought, this is how dumb I was. I thought military was just one branch. I thought it's just you join the military. I didn't know there was different branches. I didn't know there was a Marine Corps, Army, Navy, Air Force. You know, I didn't know that they were like that until I started going to the recruiter office, and they're like, where do you want to go, blah, blah, you know? I had no intentions of going and everything. What sparked the idea, what motivated me to go was actually my brother. He was one that was going to be going in, and it was his senior year, and he was taking the ASVAB. He passed the ASVAB. He was meeting with the recruiter. He was doing all these tests and everything. And I was always like, bro, what the fuck? Why do you want to go to this shit?
That's crazy.
And so he was just like, bro, I'm going to go do like Navy SEALs, Ranger type shit. He wanted to go because he played all the video games like SOCOM and Metal Gear Solid and
Metal Gear Solid.
You feel me? Like all these games. So he wanted to like do stuff like that. Yeah. So that's what he wanted to do. And I was like, bro, you tripping, you know? And then some shit happened at the school. And basically he ended up, to summarize or get long story short on that one too, was he basically he got arrested, and he's currently still locked up, innocent. He didn't do it, trust me, but he's been in prison even to this day. You know, so you got 2 consecutive life sentences in prison, and then I remember when I used to go visit him in county, and when I was going in county, I was talking to him, and we didn't know what if it was gonna be. You know, this is before trial and before he got his sentencing and everything. And I remember telling him, I was like, bro, like, don't trip, like whatever happens, I got you, you know, like I'm not going anywhere. And then shit started getting hot, like in my hometown, like they started raiding my grandparents where I lived at. I lived in my grandparents' house. So they raided the house twice, trying to find all this stuff, right? And then we're closing in on like my group of, like the circle that I was around with, were getting arrested. A few of them were like, cops were getting them, and you feel me, like they were trying to interrogate them and trying to like get them to switch. And then they were going over here. And then I just felt like, damn, like some shit's I'm either gonna be next on something or some shit's gonna pop off. I don't know what's gonna do. So maybe I gotta dip out of the area. So at first I was like, maybe I'll go move in with my sister. Maybe I'll go do this. You know, I didn't know exactly what yet. And then I remember when I was talking to my bro, I remember he was telling me, I remember a recruiter came, and when my homie Will, not you Will, but William, he was just like, oh, I'm probably gonna go talk to him. And I was like, what are you gonna go do? He's like, I'm probably gonna just talk to him to see, maybe enlist, maybe that. And I'm like, And I was thinking, all right, remember my brother wanted to enlist. He's locked up. He can't do it. So I was like, well, shit, I'm gonna see if I can join enlist for him and kind of do it for him. At least could it be like, bro, at least one of us got to do it type of thing, you know? So when I was just like, all right, that's what I'm gonna do. I was just like, all right, one, I'm gonna do it I'm gonna do it for him because he didn't get the chance to do it. Two, I gotta dip out of this area because shit's going south. You feel me? Like I feel like stuff is closing in on me. And then three was just because I didn't have a direction or a sense what I was gonna do after high school anyway. Like I didn't know what the fuck I was gonna do. So I was like, all right, I guess I'm gonna try this. So yeah, I enlisted. Graduated June 24th, and then 4 days later, June 28th, I was on the airplane gone. Like
Damn.
And on top of that too, I wasn't even of age. So my mom, the recruiter, had to go to my grandparents' house, and my mom had to sign a waiver for me to enlist or for me to join because I wasn't 18. So as soon as I graduated, 4 days later, I was gone, boom, for training, and I was in Fort Knox, Kentucky. Yeah.
Damn, that's crazy, bro.
Yeah.
The first week, how was it like? I know
training.
Yeah, just like the whole adapting to a different situation.
Well, bro, it was from the beginning. Actually, even before all that, I never been on an airplane. So
shit,
never in my life. So I flew out of San Jose, I flew out of San Jose, and I remember navigating through the airport. I didn't even know how to navigate through the airport. So what I was doing was I was just following, and I didn't know, I didn't know the people like that. There were other people that had joined too that were leaving from the recruitment office. I never met them or anything, but I just knew that they were going to the same place I was. So I was just following them in the back, like trailing them. They don't even know, but I was kind of, you know what I'm saying? And so I followed them through the terminals and some shit like that. I was 17, talking about like, I don't know where the fuck. And I was just finding this and matching up. This terminal says this, or this flight number says this. So I would follow them. And then when I got to like an area where it's like the gates, I just matched up the gates where I was at, and I just sat there, playing by myself, straight to Kentucky. No, actually it was we went to Tennessee. And then from Tennessee we took a bus, and that's like, and then when I landed, it was like there was a motherfucker, like a drill instructor with the sign already saying like, like this is new recruits or whatever. And we went on the bus. And bro, I remember I'll never forget this. I remember it was early I'm talking about like 1, 2 in the morning.
Oh.
So we get there, we drove, we get to the on base, right? And I remember I was like, man, this shit crazy. Like it's just like what you see in the movies. Like I'm looking at all the barracks, and mind you, this is not even my actual duty station. This is just training. And I remember we got in, and I'm still in regular clothes, or civilians is what they call it. So I'm in my civilians, and I remember we get off the bus, and they're hella nice. They're like, yeah, just you're gonna go over here. You're gonna go over here. It's the instructors, right? Yeah, you're gonna go over here. So they send me to my bunk area, and then while they have like people there like getting me my linen and my stuff. This is your bag. This is your your sheets. What the fuck? Shit. Yeah. So I remember I go, hey, I go, yo, where's the bathroom at? I had to take a piss, and they go, what was that? And I was like, yo, where's the restroom at? Like I thought I thought it had to be more proper. Yeah, where's the restroom at? And they're like, you mean latrine? They're like, I'm like, I guess, bro. I just gotta take a piss. And then I go, yeah, the latrines over there. They don't call them restrooms or bathrooms. It's the latrine.
Oh shit.
So they'd be like, yeah, the latrine is over there. And I was
like French or Spanish.
I don't know. That's just what they call them in the military, the latrine. So I remember I was like, whatever, bro. I just gotta take a piss. So I walked over to the latrine, and then that's when you start learning all the lingos and the shit. You feel me? Because yeah, like some of the stuff is different, like wording and stuff like that. Just old traditional stuff. Yeah, I remember that was like the first indication. I remember being like, all right, I'm in the fucking army now.
Was there any point of time where you was in the army like, oh shit, I don't want to be in the army no more? Any point in time?
Hella times, bro. Hella times, bro. What? Hella times. I mean, it's like training alone was like, bro, what? I got put on LOS.
What
LOS is line of sight. They thought I was suicidal. Because one time I was with these people. I was with this like group of people. And we were talking about like they're like, oh, we might have to get rolled over again and rolled over again. We might not leave to here. We might not do this.
What is roll over for the people?
So when you get rolled over, so when you go in, you wait. You have to go through processing. So it's not even the actual training. That's why this is how they fuck with. They mind fuck you because the drill instructors are not even. They're not mean to you. They're like really chill. Everybody's really super nice. It's just a processing center. It's not even your actual training yet. This is the place you go into before you go to the training. And this is where you do your blood work, you do your labs. They start with your hair. They start cutting your hair. They start doing everything. You get your uniforms. It's just processing.
Okay.
And then usually they give you a week. And it's like, all right, you're going to take off to your duty station. They're going to pick you up this day, right?
That sounds a lot like prison.
Yeah. So it's like that, right? So then it's like when it doesn't happen, they say you might get rolled over to next week. Means like you get put on the next one. Okay. So I remember they was talking like, yo, we might get rolled over to next week. And I was like, bro, fuck that. Like, hurry up. And I'm just trying to get this out the way. And then they're like, bro, well, what are you going to do if you get rolled over? This is me talking with other people that enlisted. And I was like, I don't even want to be here. So like, why would I want to get rolled over?
Right.
So they told us the guy I was talking to one of the drill instructors, and he was like, man, he said he doesn't want to be here, and he doesn't want to do this. And I was like, bro, why would you even tell to do so? I remember they brought me into the office, and they go, so they said you have some concerns. I'm like, yeah, like I don't want to be here any longer than what I have to. Like it's bad enough I don't even want to be here.
Oh, so they thinking
some other way, and I'm like, bro, that's not what I mean. But they're thinking, they're like, I just don't want to even be here. So why would I even want to get rolled over? So they're like, okay. They took my shoelaces, they took my belt, they took my pins, they took all this stuff from me. Right, I had to go in this room. I had to have day and night 2-person security on me. They had to walk me from to and from breakfast, lunch, dinner, whatever the fuck. I had people sit with me and everything because they thought I was suicidal. And I was
crazy.
I was like, bro, I'm not. I'm just trying to get through this shit, you know. So we finished up with lunch. It didn't last too long. It was only for a day. By the time dinner came, I remember I was like, can I talk to the instructor? And so like, I was talking to him, and I was like, he was like, so are you want to give this a try? And I was like, look, I'm just trying to get this over with. So if we could just speed this up, like I promise you, I'm fine. I'm not gonna do anything. I was like, I just want to get this done, bro. And so like, yeah, finally, and then we got sent to the actual real place and everything. So that was it from the beginning. It was that. I mean, in training alone too. I mean, we had people try to commit suicide. We had a dude try to hang himself. We had a dude because I was a tanker. I had a combat MOS, so I was a tanker. We had dudes try to go in front of the tanks while driving. We had a drill instructor mess with this one guy so bad that he tried to escape. So after a failed suicide attempt, he tried to escape at night and take off. We've had people get lost in the woods, just all kinds of different things. Because I'm not gonna lie, it is tough at first. You know what I'm saying? With the adjustment period, just like anything. But it's still nothing compared to like back in the day. Like I want to give the people before me their credit because they went through way worse. You feel me? Like when I went, it was like 2010, and a lot of it was strict, was bad. I mean, motherfuckers were getting yelled at crazy, get smacked up upside the head, but yeah. So I mean, I guess looking at those times, there was times where I'm like, bro, fuck this.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's just the training portion of it. But then even during, yeah, like there was stuff when you like. You think it's this way and it's not, and then you see like some shady stuff going on. You're just like, oh, this wasn't what I thought it was gonna be. Just so there's a bunch. Like I said, that's why I said from the beginning. It's like it might seem like a ramble, long story, but it's like there's a bunch of different times where it could have been like.
I feel it.
Yeah.
Damn, that's crazy, bro. I never knew that.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, for real.
You had a couple of different accolades there as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let the people know that you specialize in.
So. My MOS, so I had a combat MOS. My MOS itself was being a tanker, but
what is the MOS?
MOS stands for Military Occupational Specialty. Okay. So your military occupation specialty. So it's like what you do. So you hear people were MPs, military police. Some people were cooks. Some people were, I mean, you could be an X-ray technician. You feel me? You could be a dentist, whatever, medic. So that's just what you do. Your MOS is what you do. Okay. And then me was 19 kilo. I don't know what the core, how they name it, like why they do it, but 19 kilo is just tanker. 19 Delta is cavalry. 11 Bravo is infantry. 88 Mike is mechanic, I want to say, something like that. Don't quote me on that one. But so I went in for that. Damn. I started off as a loader, then I became a gunner, and then I was good at it, and then so they made me the gunner on the platoon sergeant's tank. So your platoon sergeant is a guy that's leading your whole platoon, and I was his gunner because he wanted the guy. So then while I was there, I went. I mean, I started off as I was a fuzzy or E2. No, I was a fuzzy. I mean, like a private, like no rank, and then I went from E1 to E2, which is automatic. Like after your first 6 months enlisted, I think, or first year, I think 6 months or first year. E1, E2, and then I made E3, then I made E4, and then I eventually made my E5, all in less than 3 years. I made my E5, so my E5 was my sergeant. I made sergeant. Depends on how you look at it. Like some people, I actually got a lot of hate. I got a lot of hate. I got a lot of hate. Like
a lot of people watching this. Like, damn, they go Albert.
I got a lot of people. I got a lot of people that didn't really fuck with me because they were just like, man, he's getting fast tracked way too much, and they were like, why the fuck he's? But bro, it's like, so you can look at it like, all right, I did fast track, but it was simple because it was like, I was like, all right, what are the how do you become a sergeant? They're like, well, you have to be good at physical fitness. You have to pass your tests. I was like, okay, very cool. Did that. I scored. So you have a scale. You have a 300. You need like a 220 to pass is the minimum, I think, or 270, 220. So I would score in the 330s. So when you pass the 300, you get put in this thing called the extended scale. But it doesn't fucking matter because once you get 300, you can just stop. So you would do push-ups, sit-ups, and 2-mile run. And depending on your age group, they would have your minimal and your max. So say my push-up for max was 88, I would just keep going in 2 minutes. And I just wouldn't stop until I didn't do the minimal, and just because there was some people that would do their minimal, like say if their minimal was 22 push-ups, they would do 22 push-ups and just drop to me and stop and just let the time go. And I'm like, okay, that's why you're not getting promoted, motherfucker, right there, because you're doing some shit like that. And when they're doing their run, they were barely passed, like barely. And it's not even so much of like the scores for everything, because you just need that to pass, but it tells your NCOs that you're only here to do the bare minimum. So I'd always pass everything. I go above the 300. So the next thing was like, all right, you got to get your credentials and your studying down. You want to go compete for some things called Soldier of the Month, Soldier of the Board, Soldier of the Quarter, like all these things to get stood out. I was like, okay, so what is it about? They're like, oh, you study the Army manual. It's like a big ass book, and they just pull questions from it. I was like, bet I could do that. So I went, my very first one. I didn't even last, not even 20 seconds. I went in there and I presented wrong. They're like, get out.
Damn.
Get out. And so maybe this is why I credited myself for the podcast and everything too, because I remember when I walked out of there, I remember telling my NCO, the one that was presenting for me, he goes, that was it? He goes, that's it? And I go, that's it. He goes, what happened? I go, they kicked me out. He's like, you were just in there. And I go, I promise you, that's not going to happen again. I was like, I'm going to be back next month. I'm going to win this next month. So I came back next month, won it. Won Soldier of the Month. And then I was like, they're like, okay, so now you got to go represent for like Soldier of the brigade, I think, or Soldier of the Quarter. Basically, you go up, right? Did that, won that. Went to the next one to represent the division. Did that, won that. Went up again, and then I wasn't even an NCO yet, but I was an E4P, E4 promotable, and then you go compete for NCO of the
year. What is NCO?
Non-commissioned officer.
Okay.
So it's a sergeant, anything like. So you have your commissioned side and your non-commissioned side. Your non-commissioned side is, your commissioned side is your officers. Your non-commissioned are your sergeants, sergeant first class, staff sergeants, master sergeant, So Damn, I know I'm rambling, but
it's cool. But we learning a lot of
different
language.
So I went and I want to go compete for Soldier of the Year for like my whole unit. Like it's not just when you go for the Soldier of the Board, it's between you and a few battalions, and then when you go to win Soldier of the Quarter, it's like you and a few of the battalions in that division, and then I won the whole division, and then you go compete at the actual headquarter unit to represent the brigade, like
the Olympics,
a motherfucker, like of a big thing, right? And I remember I went, and again it goes back to some fishy shit because I went there. You're supposed to go like 2-3 days prior, and you have to do weapons qual, physical tests before you even go. You have to make sure everything lined up right. The third day is the actual, the actual the testing of it, like where you stand before like division leaders and they get to ask you any questions, and it's like, bro, it's like a whole thing to it. Like your uniform has to be to the T. You feel me? Like they gonna bust out like every little ribbon, every little thing you have. They bust out rulers. They're like, yo, this is 1/8 of an inch off. That's a point. This is like it's tilted this way. It's supposed to be this way. That's a point. The way you salute when you present yourself, I could see the bottom of your hand. That's a point. Like
you're supposed to see the bottom of your hand.
You're supposed to. No, you're not. They're supposed to be flush.
Wow.
So like every little thing, and then they look at your ERB, your enlisted record brief. They look at your paperwork. Oh, and they match it. Okay, this says you have this, and this, and that. And they look at your things like, okay, that matches up. Boom, boom, boom. So you have to go every little person they have to look at all that shit before even the questions even start. And that I would win them all the time. And so
that's crazy.
Yeah. So then I went, and then it was fishy as fuck because one of the people on the board was a sergeant major. He walked in the day of, and he brought one of his soldiers in. It was a girl, and it was just fishy because she got to do a walk-in the day of. She didn't have to do the 2 days of testing. She got to do the walk-in the day of, and then when it came time to the end of the competition, I won runner-up to her. Yeah, I was like, oh, okay, yeah. So I lost to her. No, it's not even like, you know what I mean? Nothing to her or anything. I'm just saying it's fishy. Like you get to get. He walked her in to the testing thing, and he was the one sitting on the board.
Oh,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just fishy.
Spike the punch.
It's just fishy. You feel me? But yeah, so those are some. I mean, yeah, I did airborne, air assault. I mean, a lot of shit and a lot of stuff. Kind of ramble on that stuff.
And the crazy part is he still don't want to go paintballing with us, man.
No, yeah, I don't do paintballing. That shit hurt.
He done all this type of shit and still don't want to do paintballing.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. Nah, that shit hurts.
Crazy, yeah. But
yeah,
it was a great podcast, man.
I'm
glad to have you on.
Man,
if
sorry
it's one gym,
for rambling.
It's okay, man. We definitely learned. That's what we're about. If it's one gym that you can leave the people with, what would it be?
Stay consistent. Stay consistent. When all else fails, stay consistent. When your motivation to get up or do something is out the window, be consistent. When you don't feel like doing something, when you don't feel like this is going to work out, when you don't feel like this wasn't your best, stay consistent. When you feel like, that this isn't going great, or you feel like you plateaued or you reached a spot where it's like, man, I don't see the point of doing this, whatever, stay consistent, but also don't have an ego with it. So as much as I'm saying stay consistent, understand that you can't just do the same thing every single time without improving or taking advice or somewhat leveling up something and expect the things to change. Because if you're not doing anything different and if you're not evolving in any type of way, then staying consistent goes out the window, because then you're just consistently plateauing.
Facts.
You see what I'm saying? You're going to
it.
consistently plateau. So stay consistent, but make sure you do the work to stay consistent. Yeah.
Pretty dope, man. It's your host, BeEazy Will.
Albert Fig.
My guest. And my mom always say, hey, stay ready so you don't got to get ready.
You see the shoulders?
It's a pleasure, man.
My God. Thank you, man. Shouts out to you, bro. You're doing it.
Man.
Hey,
I'm trying,
you're doing it. Yeah. You're doing it.
I feel like it just give me more that I needed.
Yeah. For sure.
It's different, actually, just going about my day because, you know, you got to get something done. Mm-hmm. I'm also doing rapping, but it's going to come when it comes. You know what I'm saying?
And you could do both.
I know.
Exactly, right? And you have this, like I said, this setup. You can do like this. You get your solo ones. You can do the guest ones. I'm going to reach out to
you for a couple videos.
Come on now.
You know, we're going to have everything.
Come on now. Yeah. So
it's good money.
Appreciate y'all.
Peace.
Peace.